What is your relationship with time? Are you wired and tired, stressed and overwhelmed, busy and going nowhere? Or just want to scale your business? Welcome to Take Back Time with your host, Penny Zenker. Penny focuses on books, strategies, tools, and tips to help you work smarter and approach your time more strategically. As a result, you can have more energy, focus, and get more done in less time. Be more efficient and effective. Get ready to take back time.
Hello and welcome to Take Back Time. My name is Penny Zenker and I'm your host here. And I'm super excited. This show is so valuable. People tell me all the time, I would love to be able to clone myself or, really recapture time. Now we know that that's not really possible to recapture time, but when we think and act smarter and more strategically, we can actually get back time because we're using it more wisely. And so it's really about saving time, money, and effort so that we can get better results. And I have an expert today on the show who I'm really excited to have here. Mitch Russo is, we go way back. So back when you were CEO of Business Breakthroughs at Tony Robbins and Chet Holmes company. And really your background is so diverse. I mean, yes, you are a CEO and a business leader. You are a business coach, but you're also a bestselling author, a podcaster, and I know an excellent photographer. So you've got, so many different wheelhouses where you perform. And I'm sure that your creativity, that you have from your photography really comes into everything that you do in business. I couldn't do you justice in introducing, why and who you are. So I'd love it if you could just share with us a soundbite as to who is Mitch Russo.
It's funny because I get accused of not staying focused in one area for a long time. But the reason is because I enter a new field or a new category and I really immerse myself in that and I get, good at it. And then I rise to the top in most cases. And then at that point, I achieve my goals. There are things I love and things I continue to do. I always help small business owners. I always help high net worth individuals find their way and get their life back on track when it comes to their business. But right now, my project, as you know, is building another software company. And I love doing that.
Constantly building something new, right? Because once you do it, well, you got to move on to new things.
Exactly.
So that's why, I thought this was a great topic because in taking back time and being smarter about the way that we do things, we need to create accountability systems because, without that, we don't follow through or we only do it sort of, half-heartedly and we don't get the full results. And it's just human psychology, right? We default to sort of our lazy gene versus, that discipline that sometimes we need to create structure. So what caused you to want to create a system that would support people in accountability?
Yeah, that's a great question. In fact, the big question for me is why hasn't somebody already done this? Because frankly, it's part of life. It's part of everyday life for most people. We are holding ourselves accountable and with the help of another person almost daily. I mean, a husband and wife hold each other accountable when it comes to things around the house or the kids. But in business, we do the same thing. It's just never been set up in a structured way the way I have. And now the way my clients are using the system to do so. So when I encountered the problem that I think we are all very familiar with.
Well, tell us about it. What is the problem? Let's start there. What is the problem?
Sure. The problem is very simple. People don't finish the courses that they start. Corporations struggle with corporate training that they spent $28 billion buying last year, and only 4% of corporate training is completed.
Wow.
So there's all kinds of ways that these people who build corporate training are trying to force people through the system and, pestering them with reminders when they don't and all this other stuff. And truthfully, what it's missing is it's missing true accountability. And the accountability that an app creates can be ignored. I can ignore emails all day long. In fact, that's what I do. So do you, Penny, I'm sure.
We all do it. I mean, isn't there like a statistic that only 2 to 4% of the emails actually get read? So yeah.
Exactly. I mean, so we could ignore anything electronic. It's really hard to ignore another human being who we have agreed to have a relationship with. And that's what accountability in my world is all about. It's about building the relationship first on a particular topic or subject or a program that we have a common interest in getting through together, and then just simply working it.
That's so important. I just want to kind of reinforce that to people who are listening. A lot of entrepreneurs are listening to this. They're running their business. And, there are different forms of accountability, right? There's those things that we set for ourselves. Like you say, there's reminders and different types of apps that might send us emails and do different things like that. But there's nothing that replaces the psychology of the face-to-face. If I know that you're counting on me, then I'm going to show up differently. I mean, I use a personal trainer for exactly that reason, because otherwise I would not go. I'd find a lot of other excuses and reasons why I couldn't go. And it helps me to show up, and it helps me to push myself harder.
Right. So what I decided to do was I decided to draw on my experience when running business breakthroughs, as you mentioned earlier. One of the things that we offered, you may remember that we did this, we offered accountability coaching, and we charged a crazy amount of money. We charged $1,800 a month for 4 sessions, 5 questions per session. And we used our salespeople as our accountability coaches because we didn't want to involve our high-priced expensive coaches. And so our salespeople would call these people up once a week and ask them 5 questions like, did you make your numbers last week? How many units did you sell? And all they would do at that point is, confirm that they did. And if they didn't, ask why not, and if they'd be willing to do it the following week. This alone was responsible for CEOs all over the country raising their revenue and running their business more efficiently. Simple things like this. So what I did,
it's huge,
of people talking to each other, and I put a guided structure around it. And then I added statistical tracking on top of it. That's what my system does. And that's why it's already being used by hundreds of people all over the world.
Yeah. Accountability is so important. And how great is that when you can go to, not everybody can afford to have a high-end coach that they can work with that can dig deeper. And you don't always need, like you said, it doesn't have to be that high-end coach. If you just have somebody who's asking you the question and expecting you to check in or weigh in, right? It's like the whole idea of Weight Watchers and why it works is because people have to get on this scale, and it's embarrassing to show that you didn't do what you said you were going to do. Same type of concept. And the fact that you were matching people. Tell us a little bit about how you match people, because I think that's also, an important factor is, who do I get for an accountability partner, and how does that work?
Sure. So one of the things that we do is we have basically 3 levels of the software. The first level is what I call the public level, which anybody can come and sign up, and they could then use the search function and specify what they're looking for an accountability partner, like a dating site. And then they hit the search button, and it shows all the people that match those qualifications. The second level is what I call the partner level. And the partner level is when someone who owns a course or a mastermind wants to put their people into the program. Then what we do at that point is we work with them to load those people in advance into the system. And usually the mastermind or the program manager matches them, and then that's executed in the software. The third level is called the white label version. And the white label version is for corporations and larger organizations that have upwards of 50 to 100 people. And what they do is we, again, upload their list of everybody who is in the program. And we also enter all of the accountability questions for the training program that they have already selected. And those matches are made by the people in the program because everybody in there is only from that one program. It's very simple and it's very easy. You just select somebody who you like or you think you would work well with, and you're matched up.
Right. That's great. That is, so important. So let's talk about, what happens when we don't hold ourselves accountable? What have you seen in the past? What are the costs that people are paying?
Sure. So there's a psychological penalty that we pay, and it goes something like this. If I cannot rely on myself, if I can't hold myself to my word, then I feel like a failure. I've proven to myself that I am a failure. I've proven to myself that I can't trust my own word. And now that turns into a behavior that propagates all throughout our lives. Most people don't ever think of it at that point. They just say, oh, so what? I just didn't do something, no big deal.
Right.
But now let's look at the opposite. If you are willing to set an intention and hold to it, and then follow through with the help of another person even, then you are going to feel successful. You're going to make progress, right? And you're going to grow. You're going to strengthen your ego, and the ego naturally will push back. And that means that you'll be taking on higher and more valuable goals naturally as time goes on. So accountability builds strength in many ways. It builds strength and character most of all.
Absolutely. I agree with that. I think that it's so important, and people, they don't put enough value and importance on it. They don't realize what it's costing them personally, as you said, in their integrity and their confidence, in their ability to also visualize what is possible. It shrinks down their possibilities.
Yes.
Because of this simple thing of making commitments and not following through.
Exactly.
So, and lately I've been talking about, that I think that whoever invented the snooze button has created like more of this problem in our society, right? And the fact that we have all these distractions with social media and the impulsiveness is making it harder to stay disciplined and making it even more important that we find additional methods to help us to not only set an intention, but to follow through, with a greater sense of accountability.
And again, I think we live in a world of distractions. We have a box that we carry with us every day that's designed to interrupt us constantly. And so we're distracted by just about everything. We're distracted by the cars and everything that's going on outside, the radio. We're distracted by our computers. We can't even sit down to write a piece of text without being signaled 5 different ways about emails and events and calendar and invites and all these things. So it's hard to stay focused on your goals. The time that you spend with your accountability partner is a time where you get to be focused on you. And then you get to help your partner be focused on them. So if you're willing to spend first 20 to 30 minutes on yourself and then 20 to 30 minutes on your partner, and you both realize the value of doing that and how you feel afterwards, then you have made a major life choice by heading in that direction.
Distractions are the enemy of productivity. Go to distractionquiz.com and find out your distraction profile. Are you a time zombie or a hamster? Take this free distraction quiz today to rate your ability to focus on what keeps you from being a wizard. Go to distractionquiz.com.
There's a couple things I want to say about that. First of all, what I like about that also is that you're not just getting the reward from helping yourself when you set yourself up as an accountability buddy, like in your system, but you're also getting the reward. And actually, studies have proven it makes us happier when we help other people. We are more fulfilled. We're creating an impact. So, there's no better win-win than to be showing up not just for yourself, but at the same time, while you're benefiting, that you're creating impact for someone else.
Absolutely. And again, it's this whole thing about having another human being and not relying on a piece of software. Software makes it easy to meet. It makes it easy to have this conversation. And most importantly, it keeps track of what you've accomplished week to week so that you could see it on your dashboard. You could see graphs on your dashboard of your sales and whatever you want to track. You get 6 stats that you can use any way you want to track anything you want. And the idea is to look at those graphs and say to yourself, wow, I've made progress. This is working.
That's awesome. And that's another piece that's really important as you're holding yourself accountable, is to track your progress so that you get that feel good that you get in when you're creating momentum and you're recognizing it as you're going along. I want to go back though to what you said about, distraction, that these boxes were designed to distract us. That isn't true. They weren't designed to distract us. We let them distract us. So we have to be really clear that our whole culture and our whole mindset has shifted into more impulsivity. And so, we're also creating this for us if we don't create some rules around how we're using them. And so, I think that also needs to be clear, is that your buddy can help you with that. And also you have to take ownership and realize it's your responsibility, right? That's what it takes also to get an accountability buddy, is to take responsibility. And then to be aware and create awareness of how much it's really taking away from your level of productivity, all these distractions. And then and then to take action.
Well, they're showing now through research that our attention span has been dropping. Yeah, exactly. For the last 10 years. And it's, I believe, because of the work we do on computers and the iPhones and cell phones that we carry with us. And I believe that maybe the phone was not designed to distract us, but the software running on it was and is, because that's how they make money. In fact, it's gotten to the point now where if you're walking down the street, because of the use of electronic beacons, a store will signal you as you pass by to let you know that there's a coupon. Right, exactly. Come in and buy something here, get 10% off. So it's that prevalent. It's like hands reaching out on the sidewalk, grabbing you and pulling you in. That's what it is. And it's not going to get any better.
When it preys on our psychology, right? It preys on us. So as we're walking by and we get this text and it says, 50% off if you buy now, right? Even if you don't need it, you're like, oh, I need to get a good deal. I'm going to go in and I'm going to get it. And that's why these things distract us, is because it plays on our psychology.
Exactly.
And part of that psychology is also, I heard this recent statement, I thought it was really funny, is they say we suffer from FOMO.
FOMO, okay.
Fear of missing out.
Ah, right.
So that's kind of the social media thing for people are constantly checking social media and they don't want to turn it off because they're afraid that they'll miss something or not be a part of some conversation or something like that.
Sure. And it's, again, there's another level of that, and it's called scarcity. So when you are hit with some big program launch, if you're on Facebook, you see it all the time. Someone is going to give you $17,000 worth of free giveaways if you spend $2,000 on their program now. So people go, well, I may not need it right now, but I might as well buy it now because I'll get all these free giveaways. Well, as you and I both know, most of those giveaways are not worth anything at all. In fact, they're simply designed to sell you more stuff. So ideally, the best thing to do is try to stay focused entirely on what it is that you want to do with your life instead of letting these devices control us. And again, if you want to use that as part of your accountability work with your partner, by all means, you could even, one of the things that you could track is how many times did you visit Facebook this week? And if you wanted to, you can keep a little pad and keep track of it. You'll see it's scary how many times most people use Facebook every week.
Well, and I have this distraction tracking sheet that I make available to people because just that awareness is pretty eye-opening. They're like, wow, I didn't even realize, how many times I'm checking my email or checking Facebook or whatever. So creating that awareness is really valuable.
Exactly.
So coming back to your point, as a strategist in working with business, up on a scale from 1 to 10 about staying focused and achieving their goals, where do you think accountability falls in that? 10 being the most important and 1 being the least important?
Again, I guess there are other things that are important too. Careful financial management is important, and certainly most importantly is sales. So the thing about accountability is that if you have an accountability partner who will hold your feet to the fire on picking up the phone and making calls, on driving up to your clients and doing visits, whatever it is that you need to focus on, whether it be sales or productivity or production in the case of maybe you're running a team of programmers. Production is very important with stuff like that. Having that person once a week for 20 to 30 minutes, hold your feet to the fire, care about, check, and know to help if they can, that's super valuable. And I think it's a 10.
Yeah. Hearing what you're saying, right, is you're saying that basically you have all these areas in your business that are key to growing your business and key to keeping your business stable, whether it's the financial management, whether it's the actual bringing in business and the sales. And in order to follow through on all of those things, accountability makes them happen. It's easy to start something, but it's not easy to follow through and stick with a plan.
Exactly right. And that's why I have an accountability partner and have had one for years, because it works for me. And I have watched my accountability partner grow significantly since we've been working together because I hold her accountable and she does the same for me.
Absolutely. I do too. I work with a coach and I have many accountability partners in different areas of my life. And we all have, for those of us who have kids, we have these mini accountability partners, because I guarantee you, if you say that you're going to do something, they are going to remind you and make sure that you follow through. So
exactly. That's what kids are for.
In every area of our life.
Absolutely.
So what else on this topic, or before we close out our show together today, what else do you think is important to share with our listeners?
So one of the things that it just came from a speaking engagement at a retreat, and one of the things that I found was super important, and it's pretty important to stress, is what the job that we have chosen, the job of being an entrepreneur and running a small business really is about. And one of the folks at this event sat down with me and asked me if I could figure out with them what their key elements were that they needed to do, because they felt like they were distracted and doing lots of things, maybe too many things. And what I told them is my belief is that when you really get into the state where your business is running, and you keep in mind that your key focus is really two things. It's creativity, creating, and communicating. And that's it. That's the CEO's job. If you are creating or communicating, you're doing your job. If you're doing the books, if you're following up on, past due invoices, you're not doing your job. If you're writing software, if you're updating your website, you're not doing your job. So it's my belief that staying focused on the most important thing, let's call it your highest paid work, is creating and communicating. And if communicating for you means getting out on stages and speaking, that's great. If it means getting and doing webinars, that's great. If it means communicating to your staff and to your team the value that you see that we bring to the world as a company, then that's communicating as well, and that's great.
Absolutely. That's really great, great tips, because it's so easy to get caught up in the weeds and feel like, especially for the entrepreneur that wears a lot of different hats,
yes,
it's easy for them to lose sight of where they really need to be focusing their time and their effort, where the business is actually growing when they focus their time there versus, something that they could easily delegate that isn't in their core competency and isn't, directly growing the business.
Exactly. Well said.
So great. So tell us how can people get, onto this accountability program? How can they find themselves a buddy? How can a corporation, if they're looking for something for their team, how can they get connected with this as well?
So the easiest thing to do is to use the link on the page that this interview will be on. If you click on that link, it will take you directly to the Results Breakthrough website. And we've set up something special for your listeners, Penny. And I wanted to pop this into the conversation around now, so I figured I'd do it. So if your listeners decide to go and try this out, we're going to give them 30 days free of full usage. Usually we don't give them full usage, but for your listeners, they're going to get full usage. And all they have to do is click any of the red buttons on the page and type in the group code WINNER, WINNER in all caps. So click on the red button on the sales page. Let that red button take you to a buy page, all to the free box. And in there is the group code. Put your group code WINNER in there, and you will get 30 days free. And once you're in the system, there'll be videos to guide you on how to do things like get set up, do a search, and even conduct an accountability session, your very first one.
That is great. Thank you so much, Mitch, for being here and sharing a lot of your experience in creativity. So, that's so valuable. And for everybody who's online, thank you for being here and understanding that, this show and this particular show around accountability is to help you so that you can, really leverage the time that you have and use it more wisely so that you can really achieve more in less time, because it's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. And that's how we're going to take back time. So my name is Penny Zanker. It's been a pleasure to be your host here. I'll see you in the next episode.
Thank you for listening. Today's topic is another opportunity for you to put the knowledge you learned into practice. Tune in again next week for more strategies that will help you have more energy and focus to get more done in less time, so you can continue to take back time.